What's up, folks? I'm back with another reaction, back with some more Erasure, and we're going back to their 1991 album Chorus, their fifth studio album. We're up to the third to last track, and the song is called Siren Song. It's another phrase that seems fairly straightforward, a siren song in literature, and then by extension in popular culture and sort of idiomatic phrasing. It refers to the dangerous allure of something that will ultimately be ruinous. The idea that there's some superficial attraction that might relate to something that then entices you to approach it, whether that's in a more literal, like physical sense, or whether it means, bringing it into your life. But that it then causes problems, harm, damage, and ultimately death, perhaps. The idea is that you can get entranced by the song of a siren, which again, it goes back to Greek mythology. I'm sure many of you know this. You don't need me to explain it. Ultimately, a siren song in a sort of modern, like interpersonal or socio-cultural context could be something that has glamour, has allure, has appeal in one way or another. But ultimately, will not be beneficial to you. It will be damaging it, and indeed, it could spell your doom. So ultimately, I don't know, that could be a person, that could be a way of living, not just with one person, but like, approaching interpersonal intimacy in with a certain sort of attitude. That could seem to like, oh, that's a good way to do things, and oh man, it seemed like a good way to do things, but now I'm hurt, now I'm broken, and so on. It could be more about another person's actions, and indeed, you would be inclined to think that, in the sense that, like, the siren is the one that is singing it, is the one attracting the sailors, and then, foretelling their doom. But again, it could be in terms of like your perception. It's like, oh, like I see a siren song when I look at this person or when I look at this way of living. But as it turns out, they or it wasn't healthy for me. So we'll have to see. Bottom line, when I do these speculations, I haven't said this in a while, but of course, these are just a way to get my brain working, just to start thinking about potential themes, so that if I hear a line, I can like, oh wait, it does sort of align with that one potential interpretation. But obviously, these are not only not authoritative or definitive, but they're merely speculative and often wrong. Nevertheless, let's get to it. This is Chorus, or from the album Chorus, Erasure, and the tune is Siren Song. Oh, wow. Sounds like a submarine siren. This is fascinating. This is like very different from mid-80s Erasure. Yeah.
Prison sisters cutting through real life,
like meandering, wavy melody.
The color of the pure in soul, like water.
It's either acid or an acid-like synth.
Cloudless sky.
The chorus. There they are.
Try to feel the splendor of it all.
Acidy bass. Oh. Wicked, yes. Hand solo's gonna kill me, but I feel like there's a bit of Depeche Mode flavor in there.
Diamond tears, spirits that walk for 1,000 years.
Oh.
Hear them calling in the darkest.
The tone of this one is complex.
Pulling me under, my thoughts disappear. The color of the pure in soul.
Oh my god, the sonics of this one.
Shall fill the cloudless sky.
back down. Water shall fill the cloudless sky.
Try to feel the splendor of it all. Embrace the honesty of nightfall.
Embrace the honesty of
Try to
nightfall.
feel the anguish of it all. Wrap yourself up in every facet of emotion.
Echoed and moody. This is brilliant. This is a special one. Yeah. Feels like a delightful curse. You've been captured by the siren. You're okay with it. Alright. This has happened a few times. I've done some Tears of Fears reactions where this happened. I've done some Duran reactions. I've done some Pesh reactions. This is the first time I feel like I've done an Erasure reaction where it's like, no, I'm not doing any other reactions after this. That's the end. I need to re-listen to that a few times and just let it, like, just bask in it. That's a brilliant tune. The tonal ambiguity, complexity, complicated nature of the atmosphere. It was bright and sort of, again, star-like and crystalline, but it was also deep and gurgling and sort of wicked. And then that end part where it was like he was vocalizing, but it was sort of echoed in the distance, and it made it sound like even more haunted. It's brilliant. You know, I'm trying to like make sure I don't confuse which songs I've heard on which album or so on, so I can't say definitively without sort of going back and looking through the track list of all the albums I've been reacting to and which songs I've heard. But that's one of my favorite. I mean, that is a top Erasure tune that I never heard before. Meaning, again, as I've gone through this, there have been times I used as an example the other day, and you know, I've been listening to it a lot, so I think it's a good example. But Victim of Love, it's a tune that, you know, as I looked at the title, it didn't really come back to me. Started listening, oh wow, I do remember this, and then that sort of really cool, like instrumental, like interlude came in. It was like, oh my god, I'm having like nostalgic flashbacks. But even that wasn't like the same as this, in the sense that like part of that feeling was like, oh my god, I do know this, I remember this on the radio. This was like, I've never heard this before, but I'm shocked, like I'm just stunned. So yeah, the sonics of that were brilliant. Admittedly, like I was talking a few moments where the lyrics were playing, so part of it is I just need to listen to it again to try to catch more of the lines. But I was thinking, as I was listening, part of it also, when Andy gets really breathy and kind of low, sometimes the clear articulation of the words, I don't hear them as much. So yeah, like when he's high and sort of, you know, really up in the upper melodic range, I tend to hear him a little more clearly. But there were a couple lines there where like I didn't make out the full line, not because I was talking, but because like, you know, number one, I was so fascinated with the sonics, but number two, it gets a little bit harder for me to understand when he goes deep and breathy. So, but yeah, bottom line, brilliant tune. Let me know if you agree. Yeah, no more reactions tonight. Gotta let that one stew. So let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.